Hey all, this is 012Boku, and I'm coming at you with another review of, continuing on with the Cosby Show. Believe it or not, Season 4. Believe it or not, we are almost done with the first disc before we'll take a break of finishing up Season 4, and we'll have something in between. There goes my phone. Let me try to get that in a way where it's not going to fall over, but it'll probably, just a little side note, I'll probably do one of the Royal Rumbles I was supposed to do for you guys and never had a chance to do because I forgot, because I probably should have did that first and been on the Royal Rumble this entire time, since that's what I was doing. And maybe not, or maybe what I'll do is I'll go back to the beginning of wrestling, since I'm doing that. Maybe we'll just try to remember where we are and just watch what I have all from the beginning, because wrestling is taking a long time for me to do. Plus, what am I doing that? So maybe I'll go back to the very beginning and just probably put some things away, because I'm also watching wrestling just on a fun thing with some of my friends, getting caught up. And I know I'm getting to like some of the better Royal Rumbles now, and I would like to, but since I'm doing this more for fun and not really as a side thing, probably work on doing that. But anyhow, so I'll probably do some wrestling for next time, and we'll get to it. For what I have right now for episode 9, Where's Rudy? With this one, it begins with the Huxtables coming in, Clair and Heathcliff. They're going to go to the Eastman Mall to show off her squash, which is a beautiful squash, a nice tall orange one. And they're all excited. Heathcliff's thinking Claire is going to win first prize. It's a shoo-in. She's got nothing to worry about. The kids come down. They're excited to go to the mall. They think they're going to do all these different things. Heathcliff wants them to enjoy the squash show, and they're just like saying, we don't want to go to the competition. We want to do other things. Heathcliff's trying to say, you guys can be there to support your mother. And then Theo goes, Dad, if we go, we have to eat the squash. And he's like, no. And they're all like happy they don't have to eat the squash. So they end up going to the mall. And once they get there, they're eager to go. Heathcliff actually tells them again, support your mother. So they all say what they say. And Claire's like, did your father put you up to this? And they all agreed yes. And then she's like, well, you guys can go do something for a half hour. Just take your older sister and go. And Vanessa and Theo complain they have to, take Rudy. And Rudy's like, well, it's a raw deal. I don't want to go with you either. But they all end up going together so they can have some fun. And as the squash competition is going, you have all these other people with their squashes. And then there's this one man whose name is Norman Kirby, played by Louis Nye. And Norman is like, he has this squash covered by a blanket of his, and he's like whispering it, afraid to unveil it, looking around at everybody. Heathcliff tries to go over and look at it, and Norman says, oh, I've done this squash by singing it smooth jazz, and saying it every night. And I think he says the squash's name is Edna, and he like whispers to it and talks to it, and you have Heathcliff looking at him like he's strange. Heathcliff tries to keep getting a look at it, but Norman isn't availing it. As Heathcliff looks away, when Norman looks his way, Norman's like following Heathcliff, and the crowd's vicious, and so it goes from like, and then like that sort of thing as they're following one another. At the mall, you have Vanessa and Rudy and Theo arguing over where they want to go. Record store, to think it's to the makeup counter, and then it's to the toy store. All of a sudden you have what is it? You have Vanessa spot a boy she likes, Danny Brenner, who works the key kiosk and makes keys. She wants Theo to play, dumb, have a key made, and they can run into each other and, have us start talking, So they do this. While they do this, though, Rudy's still standing near him, but she sees a dog goes to pet this dog, and then as they're talking to him, Rudy disappears. Theo and Vanessa can't find Rudy. They don't know where she's went, so they're frantically looking around for her. And they don't want to tell their parents because they think their parents are going to call the cops, do all these things, and they're going to need the cops for protection from their parents and all these things. And Theo's afraid to go into the military. Vanessa thinks her social life is over, and they think all these terrible things are going to happen to them, and they're like, we'll search all around the mall, and then we'll bring the cop if we have to for protection from Dad. And they walk away. Rudy, who knows she got lost at some point, is looking around. She runs into her friend Kim Ogawa, again played by Nakagawa, which apologies if I got that wrong, for the actress who plays her. And she says, oh, Rudy, would you like to come in and play? Rudy comes in and play. Her dad apparently owns the sushi restaurant. Her dad notices that her daughter and Rudy are together, so her dad, Mr. Ogawa, wants to tell Heathcliff and Claire that his daughter's with them. And what happens is Vanessa and Theo are about to go back to Heathcliff and Claire. Mr. Ogawa with Kim and Rudy show up and says that Rudy got lost and they didn't know what happened, and a bit of a quick thing with the parents and Rudy. Rudy asks if she can still play with her friend Kim. The Huxtables allow it. Mr. Ogawa says he'll watch them. They run off, and then Heathcliff says, let's not say anything to Vanessa and Theo. What the feel. And then as soon as Vanessa and Theo admit what happens, they're like, oh, well, it was Rudy. It was her own fault. Let her stay lost. She has to learn, and they're like, you're not worried she's gone. And then Claire's like, no. She'll be found. It's her own fault for getting lost anyway, She did it to herself. She should have been better to stay with you guys. You guys didn't need to watch her. Come on. And then, Theo and Vanessa are getting worried. They're like, well, what if someone took her? What if someone kidnapped her? And then it's like, oh, nothing doing. It's just what happens. We'll see what goes on. We've had a whole bunch of children. We've had 5 of you, so if we lose one more, it's not a big deal. As Heathcliff puts it, but then Claire, says right after that she's with Mr. Ogawa and her friend Kim. She's fine, and then Theo and Vanessa get in trouble and are told to go wait into the car, till the competition is done, and they've lost their privileges for the day. And Heathcliff's even like, under the car. You wait under the car. The squash is about to be judged. Norman is freaking out, saying, you've all won it. One of you's won it. You've won it, Mrs. Huxtable, but not me. I never win. And, Claire gets, I believe, second place in the squash competition, and Mr., Norman Kirby gets first place. And then, he makes this grand speech about, squashes, they have their way, but for weighing the squash, you wait your one life for this one moment, and it becomes everything. And that's exactly what I told Edna. It's too bad my wife had to go before I could have this moment. So, Mr. Norman Kirby makes it all strange and weird. They get back home, and, there's a prize squash, Claire wants to display it, but Heathcliff wants to cut it up. They decide to do it, and then there's this little play with the squash of Heathcliff hiding the cleaver from the squash, and that he was going to use a spatula, and he's like, no, what's that? Oh, I'm not going to catch it, no worries, oh, nothing's behind my back, oh no, let's go outside. So, pretty fun, great episode here. Enjoyable. Again, some good lessons about watching our siblings and things we had. I did see some comments that, Rudy deserved to get lost, and, maybe she did do it to herself, but Theo and Vanessa should have also been big brother and big sister and been doing their best to watch her too. So it's all three of their faults, personally, completely. And, Rudy, I think, learned the lesson from when she got back to her mom and dad and hugged them, and she felt bad for being lost and was very grateful she ran into her friends. So there was that. This one, I'd have to say again, Bill Cosby, Dr. Clair Huxtable, Felicia Rashad, Clair Huxtable. Probably even give it to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable, Tempest Bledsoe, and X Huxtable. Their freak out was great in this episode when they thought they were in trouble. And I have to give it to Lewis and Norman Kirby, just for this whole freak out of a squash that he wasn't going to win the competition. And I did forget to mention, when he unveils his squash, it's this real big green-like squash. It's actually pretty huge and big, and he takes the blanket off, and he's presenting it with fantastic flair to the judge. And he's still worried about it, but it was just great in that way. So, that's the episode, and again, like I said, good messages, fun stuff, great things to have. What did you guys think? Have you guys seen the episode I'm talking about, Where's Rudy? Or have you not seen any of the Cosby Show at all? Leave a comment down below and we'll get this discussion going. Till then, this is 012 Boku, and I'll talk to you guys again later, alright?